Does it feel like the world is finally waking up to small and affordable EVs? We have the Renault 5 in Europe, which is making huge waves. BYD with the Seagull is imminently going overseas. So what happens when a startup EV company like NIO join the fray? Well, they come up with this. Oh, and it's got battery swapping. My name's Elliot Richards, and this is Firefly. Now, it was just a few weeks ago we were testing NIO's most expensive, technologically advanced car ever, the ET9. And now we've gone completely the other end of the spectrum and have the Firefly. And finally, they're going into a space which has been very stagnant in overseas markets. And this is the new global car they think will crack that market overseas. Of course, this is the third brand from NIO. So you've got NIO itself, you've got Onvo, also rumoured to be going overseas, and now we have Firefly. But first things first, what do we think about the looks? Whoa, steady on there, Elliot. Let's not get too much into the looks, because what you and I want to both know is how this thing drives. And I have to say, they've already nailed the small car formula. Small car needs to be fun. It needs to be easy to drive. It needs to not have mad acceleration, good visibility. It's got all of those, tick, 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 tick. This is a really great start for a first ever super mini, super small car from a brand like NIO. Now, they've developed the suspension, the chassis, how it rides with a company called Multimatic. They've really worked out the agility and comfort of the car. And I have to say, they've achieved 50-50 weight distribution. Even though the electric motor is in the rear, batteries are under the floor, it really handles like a proper super mini, like minis of old, like the original Mini, like the R52 Mini. They've managed to keep that small car formula, which is all about fun driving and easy driving. Let's get this out of the way, shall we? These three bug eyes, they are bug eyes, Firefly eyes, iPhone camera eyes, whatever you want to call them, these drew a big gasp at NIO Day when the crowd saw the car for the first time. Now, I'm not going to go into whether you like it, I like it. It has to be distinctive. It has to stand out in a market which is going to be fiercely competitive in the future. It can't look too much like a Mini E. It can't look too much like the Renault 5. They've all got their own distinctive styles. Coming around here, it's kind of a very clean design. It reminds me a lot of the Honda E, and that's a good thing. A beautiful car, flawed by its tiny battery capacity. Now, Firefly are billing this as their fun, young car, and the car comes in a range of 5, I have to say this, very tepid and quite boring colours. Now, for a car that's meant to be fun and adventurous and exciting, I would want something a bit more purpley than this lavender we've got here. Now, I understand it's kind of gotten for that Scandinavian kind of minimalist aesthetic, but I just wish, if you're going to have a fun car, have one or two which are really fun. Go nuts with the colours. Let's really splash a load of interesting paint on here. So that's one kind of small downside for me. And coming back down here, in terms of comparison, I'm going to compare this to the Mini E. It's about 3 centimetres longer in every direction, basically. It's just slightly longer, slightly wider and slightly higher. So in fact, this is 4,003 millimetres long, 1,781 millimetres high, and it's 1,553 millimetres wide. Really, Mini got the small car formula spot on back in the 50s and 60s, pushing the wheels to the edge so there's maximum space for the occupants. And what NIO have done with the Firefly is replicate that for the electric age. They've pushed the wheels right out to the edge, but they've put the electric motor in the back. Now, why is that important? Because power effortlessly pushes you along the road, which is really nice for a super mini. It's not just supercars that can have that rear wheel drive kind of experience. Now, I think this can do even fun things like drifting and going a bit nuts. We're not going to do any of that today, but the important thing is, on those small roads, you can dart in and out of traffic like this. Dart in, dart out. And I know I've got the power right under my feet. I'm barely touching the accelerator, and I've got more than enough oomph. That's great. Now, I do have some steering wheel controls as well. Now, there are ADAS features on the car. I can't quite test them today. This is still a pre-production car, but it does have highway assisted driving. So again, like the NIO cars, that's probably one of the better systems out there. It's very confident, so easy to use. And again, just press the button and it will start. Can't test that today. So I just want to talk about the design on this car, because I do like how sophisticated NIO designs actually are, and that filters through all of the products in the company. So as you can see down this side profile here, looks kind of a bit like a Golf. Again, back to that Honda E. But again, they've really thought about how to squish down this side profile to make it look a lot shorter. So obviously with this here, and then the roof going here. Now this has got a glass roof. This is the Chinese version. The European version will have a steel roof option as standard as well. Then coming back here, it's got this kind of hoop round here. And then the back end, the aperture here, it's just a very well thought out design. It's very beautiful. Again, they mimic the same lights on the front at the back as well. Whether you like that or not is up to you. And how you open the boot is by pressing this button here. Second time lucky. Now, given this is a small car, they've really packaged it very smartly. So it's got a rear motor, which is obviously under here, but they've compacted it down as small as they can, so you get more boot space. There's 335 litres of boot space in here. So I can put my hand in here like that. I can also stand underneath here. I have lights out here, and then I can push down these rear seats and get even more space. I think over 1,200 litres of space if I push those down. So it's super mini should be like, super practical, super affordable. This is ticking all the right boxes at the moment, but it's not just that, okay? This has a little party trick around the front. So if you just follow me. Now, frunks. Lots of cars have frunks, many don't. How many small cars have 92 litres of frunk space? Not many, I bet you. But not just that, it's got two hooks in here with up to 5 kilograms. And then down here, that little plastic thing is your drainage hole. So you can put ice in there, you can put fish in there, and it all drains out afterwards. Again, very thoughtful and exactly what the small car market really needs. In terms of seat comfort and driving position, extremely comfortable. Sometimes these small cars compromise on that. It's too economy, it's not comfortable. They've saved money in the foam and the seating. I love cloth seats. This has got really super comfortable, super soft cloth seats. And you want that kind of softer seat experience for a city car where you might be doing shorter journeys rather than the super long distance highway driving, although this can do that as well. And my driving position, I'm high up. I've got great visibility all around. My mirrors, normal mirrors, not electric mirrors. Steering wheel, it's great, lovely shape. It's not too big, it's quite small. And I've got my easy to use controls here. There's a lot to love about the Firefly and how they've nailed the formula already. Brakes are decent. I wouldn't say they're the best in the world. They're not carbon ceramic, ridiculous jobs, but they don't need to be. This car is not super heavy either. So it's carrying a much smaller battery at 42 kilowatt hours. It's carrying that smaller rear electric motor, so it's not going to have huge brakes to have huge stopping power. The storage compartment fun doesn't just stop with the rear, because here in the front there's even more storage. Yes, look, there's storage under the front seat, actually useful for documents or things you want to hide, perhaps in a European city. So good stuff. Now, if I get in, there's a really unique feature which is very smart. So just move this back. Let's say I've parked in a very tight European city in a car park and can't get out this side. That's quite annoying, isn't it? And it happens quite a lot. I'm just going to slide across and get out the other side. Look, I can fully slide across actually quite easily without being impaled by a gear stick. So that's great. Let me just slide back. So again, it's nothing really to shout about in here, but it's lots of very small, smart decisions which make a really pleasant experience in here. Of course, I've got my steering wheel in here. There's different variations of trim that you can get. You can get like a leathery material. This is the cloth material. I like cloth material in cars. It feels kind of more cozy, more homely. This cloth material is repeated around here, but it's quite minimalist in here. It's nothing like the Renault 5, it's not like the Mini E with a big circular screen. It's very muted, again, very Scandinavian. And that's okay, the market needs something like this. It almost reminds me of something like a Tesla Model 1. If they were going to bring out one of those, this is what the interior, I think, would be like. I've got completely different UX UI compared to other NIO models. This is kind of more simple, but more relevant. It's fun and it's kind of easy to use. This doesn't go over the top. I've got simple controls for the car. I've got my mapping. So I just want to take you through some of the screen functions here because it is slightly different from other NIO models. Well, it's actually very different. I think it's all based on the same architecture. But if I just go into what some of the most important things on the screen. So this has been really simplified and made easy for most users because this might be the first EV that a lot of people get into. They don't always want the most tech, the most amazing things. As you can see, this is in English, definitely going overseas. And I've got a tiny little 6-inch screen in front of me here. I've also got my wireless charging. I've got my cup holder here. I've got extra storage space in here, which can move up and down. And I've got all of my controls and my door handles are proper door handles. So again, reducing that cost and thinking about what consumers actually want. All of the material quality in here is decent. It's not like top of the range, like super premium. No, this is all plastic, but it's kind of been very well thought out and very well designed. I just like this cloth. I like cloth interior cars. I'm a big fan. My driving controls are here. I've got my up-down lever. There's no levers down here. Yeah, what a pleasant place to be. So we'll come on to the actual rear comfort a little bit later on, but I want to show you, as an extension of that boot space, how much space you actually get. So there's actually 27 storage containers within this small car, which is quite unbelievable. But then, look, they've hidden it everywhere. If I pull the seat out, oh, come on, Ellie, you keep going to the gym for this. There you go. Sorry, I'm doing it wrong. That folds out like that. You've got 2 storage containers down there, which obviously really useful for things like kids' toys or whatever you might have. But then with this over here, and you pull these down and the headrests are down, this is how you get that 1,250 litres of extra space. And this is all completely flat, so I expect there'll be some accessories to make a bed. So you could technically go camping in this as well. I mean, this has got so many useful features that people actually need. This is really a true family super mini because it's got ISOFIX on both sides here. You've got the storage space. And then you've got things like these funky lavender seat belts which match the exterior paint of the car. And if you look, this seat is set up for my driving position and this actually gives me plenty of leg room. My leg is slightly elevated. It could do a little bit more support, but I think for a reasonably long journey, this would be comfortable. But then they don't skimp in terms of the entertainment. I've got 7 Dolby Atmos speakers in here. That's a trickle down from the ET7, their top of the line model from 3 or 4 years ago, coming into now their most affordable car. In the other models, this is kind of Ecotex, which is that really baby safe material. So again, thinking about those young families with perhaps 2 baby seats in the back. This is actually very well thought out. I've got so much space in there thanks to that small electric motor hidden beneath the boot and that smaller battery in the floor. Those small changes can make huge benefits on the inside to the interior occupants like myself. Again, tick. Now the Firefly has a huge party trick up its sleeve what the Renault 5 and the BYD simply don't have. In fact, no one else has it, and that is battery swapping. Yes, this can battery swap, and it will be expected to battery swap in those overseas markets as well. It also has your standard charging, so this is the Chinese version of the model. We expect the European, UK, whatever market will be slightly different here, but essentially you have a 42 kilowatt hour swappable battery. There will be other versions coming out in the future. Gives around 430 kilometers of CLTC range, or about 320 WLTP. Those are not official stats, those are Elliott stats. You'll get the official ones coming out very, very soon. But if you can get a small city car which can battery swap in about 2.5 minutes, this becomes so compelling. But it's not just that, because the car also has insane levels of efficiency, and I love efficient small EVs. 10.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That is one of the lowest I've heard on the market and is great for you and me because it means you get more out of that smaller battery, which means we can have more cars with smaller batteries. Yes, please. Right, so now it's identified the parking space. Firmly hold the brake and select slot. So I'm going to select that slot. Sapper RPA, don't know what that means. Just press Sapper, release the brake. Now it's still pre-production, so you might have noticed there's a couple of small errors on the screen, but this little car is going to park itself. And I like how this is just becoming the norm now. Now small cars are easy to park anyway, but it's nice to have this additional feature in an affordable small EV. No fuss, loving the graphics on the screen. 270 centimeters away. Easy peasy. Done. That is self-parking in a Firefly. So just whilst we're driving along, there's two more things I wanted to talk about. One is the price. So at the time of testing, we're not 100% sure of the price. We're thinking it's around about 140,000 RMB, but if it's got the battery renting option, it should be even cheaper than that. So as a benchmark, it's about the same price as the Mini E here in China. So about, I don't know, £15,000. The other thing is, I'm going to talk about the modes here. So like I said before, it has that one pedal mode. I can switch on and off. That's quite easy through the button here. Regen braking, low, standard, high, and then auto. And auto just senses it by itself. And then I've got three driving modes: eco, comfort, and sport. We're in comfort. Let's bash it into sport. And it's a much snappier kind of acceleration, but still retains that level of super mini comfort. And that's if you want to have that kind of fun experience in this super mini, the Firefly. You could do that very easily just by changing the modes there. But let's be honest, none of what I've said in the last few minutes makes a blind bit of difference, because what is important is that NIO have brought a small electric car to the market, and that's what we need more of. Whether you like the looks, you don't like the looks, whether you think it's too expensive, you don't think it's too expensive, irrelevant. We have a new small electric car on the market, one that does battery swapping, and so this is a very welcome contender to the global markets. Well done, NIO.